Guess that noise makes it time to go. We'll call this meeting to order, the Evanston City Council. It's December 19th. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome, everyone. We're not have a lot of people here tonight, but thank you for those that came, and we'll jump right into this. And I don't want to say get it over with, but we have this meeting. We start with a roll call. Ms. Harris, will you help us with that?
Everyone is present. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. We have an agenda before us. Is there any changes to that agenda we need to consider? If there are none, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Mr. Welling, is there a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Mr. Perks, seconding. Any discussion on the motion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are any opposed? We have an agenda. We have the council minutes. No. We have the council minutes for December 5th. Any concerns regarding those minutes? If not, we will acknowledge those as they've been prepared and go to the work session minutes for our, I think it's supposed to be December 12th, but it says January 12th. We can approve them in the future. Is that what it is? December 12th. So December 12th's minutes, work session minutes. Any concerns or discussion regarding those? We'll acknowledge those as well if there are none, and we'll go on to the bills. We've got a warrant register with today's date on it. Any questions on the bills? Well, there's not a lot of pages there, but is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Land, motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Lynch, seconding. Any discussion? Discussion? If there is none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved, the bills. Council comments. Mr. Lynch, what's on your mind tonight?
Just thank you to the department heads and all our employees. God bless you and have a Merry Christmas.
Excellent. Mr. Lynn?
Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hopefully Santa finds you guys' house.
I suspect he will, one way or another. Yeah. Mr. Perks?
Merry Christmas, guys.
Mr. Welling?
Just thanks everybody for all their hard work. Our snow budget looks good so far. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And a Happy New Year. We probably won't see you before New Year's.
No, probably not. Sellers?
Merry Christmas. Just repeat the thanks for this year of service to the community. We have a great organization, and I'm grateful for each of you. And then last minute shopping, look local first. Talking to some of the retailers and stuff, walking into some of the stores, it's pretty quiet. And so they're feeling things a little bit. So shop local and remember to watch for people who are struggling, and remember the emergency new number 988. Thank you.
I want to echo what everybody else said, but include our service members that can't make it home for Christmas. You know, that's near and dear to my heart. And more importantly, the families You know, the empty dinner plates, the packages that are too big to mail. And it's worth it. Thank you for your service, you too, your families, and I thank you. And for the USPS and the UPS and the FedEx and the DHL that make all of this happen, this is their craziest season, so have mercy and get out of their way. And I hope you guys all don't get coal for Christmas.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll just echo that. I hope everybody in the community has a great Christmas. We've had a fast year, a good year, but I hope everybody has a special holiday season. We have no public hearings or special orders. We have no consent agenda item. We have no unfinished business. So we're moving right ahead pretty quick. We do have some new business. And before we get into the new business, I will just say for everybody's, when we get to Resolution 2382, I'm going to recuse myself from that discussion. Whether maybe everybody knows it, but I administered this process, this subdivision, for the county commission in my regular employment, and so while I have nothing to gain or lose from this subdivision being authorized or denied either way, I think it's best if I recuse myself from that discussion. So when I get there, that's what I'll plan to do. And we'll start with Resolution 2381. Mr. Harris should read that title for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2381, a resolution approving and authorizing final plat of the Nexus condominiums 2023 edition subdivision part lot 1 of the Nexus addition to the city of Evanston, as more particularly described here.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jacobson.
The Nexus condominium addition that was done in 1986. There we go. Does it work? Okay. So back in 1986, the Nexus condominium addition was passed, approved. It created from Lot 1 that area that's showing in kind of a pinkish purple as the common open area for that condominium development, with the two buildings each being condominiumized, the space within. If you notice in the upper part of this, I'll point it out, this area here, there is a 5-foot strip of land that was originally part of Lot 1 that the condominium development is located on. That was left out of the common open space area. It is presently owned by George Arnold, and he has no use for the land. It's just a remnant piece. We've been contacted by the county assessor's office. They have concerns about if taxes cease, and they cease to collect taxes on that property, goes up on a tax sale, it could end up in someone else's hands, and then it just keeps going, and no one can do anything with it, with the 5-foot strip. I'm not sure why it happened the way it did back in 1986. I don't know if anyone knows exactly why they pulled that out, but the Our Nexus Condominiums 2023 edition that we have here, this shows the 1986 plat, and here's the Our Nexus Condominiums 2023 edition. As you can see, we're adding that 5-foot strip back into that common open space that is showing in that kind of orange shaded area. So it's just a fix.
Just
from
doing
what
away
we've
with
done
that
in
little strip.
86. So it's still a condominium. Everything else is still the same. All of the utility easements that were platted back then still remain intact. We're just fixing that 5-foot strip so that doesn't end up in someone else's hands and continuing to be a challenge with the county assessor's office. So
That's just a standalone little 5-foot strip?
it is, yeah.
That's odd.
It is kind of an odd thing, but
David has computers.
This has been a discussion for a couple of years at the courthouse that I've been involved in, but whatever the reasoning for that little small strip is either the powers that were involved in it either cannot remember or are unwilling to say what the purpose. But it truly is one of those things that it's just maybe perhaps an anomaly, and nobody really knows why it was platted that way. But this will certainly fix that issue. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Jacobson?
I don't have anything else for that.
Okay. Is there an introduction on this resolution?
I'll introduce with a motion to pass.
Mr. Lynch with a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sellers seconding. Is there any discussion?
Because service is right there.
If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's approved. And now we'll go to Resolution 2382, and Mr. Sellers, I'll sit here quiet.
Mr. Harris, would you lead it? Would you?
Resolution 2382 is a resolution approving and authorizing the final plat of Warren Hayes
Lincoln Service.
a subdivision located in the southwest quarter, northeast quarter, and southwest quarter, northwest quarter of Section 8, Township 15 North, Range 120 West of the city principal meridian, Wayne County, Wyoming, for which it is described.
Good. All right. So,
Sorry.
Warren Hills subdivision, as I note here, is a county subdivision. It's located just beyond the half-mile boundary of the city.
Spencer's tried selling it to them.
Southern line right here is a half-mile out. This is the corporate boundary. So it's a half-mile out there, so just beyond there. So the area that's highlighted includes what is being proposed as a one-lot subdivision with a remaining tract of land up towards the escarpment to the east of it. That tract of land is a little over 30 acres that will be left over. So this is the plat. We'll enlarge that. So there is a 20-foot irrigation and drainage easement proposed along the front. There is a ditch easement, irrigation easement that arcs through the northern side, and also 10-foot wide irrigation easement along the back of the property. Now there is the only concern that staff had with this, and that seems to be addressed with the plat, is access. There's a 40-foot private access easement that's noted in the green shaded area on the plat, and that refers to a note that I've highlighted in yellow that provides access to the tract of land that's also owned by Warren Hills, which is this much larger area. So the reason why we were concerned with the making sure that that tract has access is because the street frontage of this tract is only 17.92 feet along the highway. It doesn't provide much width for adequate access without that private access easement. So it's been proposed that with the surveyor, that they look at filing an access easement separate from the plat that would show the tract of land as the dominant land, so that when a title search is done, and that it'll pull up showing that there is access to that tract. There are no city water, there is the Joint Powers Board with the city main that extends out towards the town of Bear River. There is no sewer lines running that far out, so we don't have any infrastructure out there that the city's concerned about. We don't see, as city staff, we don't see any issues with the approval of this subdivision.
So this is in the county, right?
It is in the county, yes.
It's within the 5 miles.
But it's within a certain, I guess explain to me what I'm missing.
Yeah, so state statutes addresses subdivisions, gives some review authority to the city to look at plats and approve those if they are within 1 mile of the corporate limit zone, which this is.
Gotcha.
And the county approved it, the county planning? I'm just
I
assuming.
believe that will be, after this review, it'll go to the county commissioners. I believe that's the process, and then they will approve.
That answers
There's
my
2
question.
signature lines for both.
I wasn't sure which way it went, but I figured it'd have to go through them as well, so.
Can you remind me what this is for? No, is this single family? Is this an apartment, or is this duplex, or?
So there is a single-family home on the property, and I know there is also a barn. And this subdivision, and I don't know the reason why, but the subdivision does separate the house from the barn. And I'm not sure the purpose behind why they're doing that, but that's what it's doing.
I remember looking at something similar to this in the past. Is that something we've looked at before?
Dad was going to put his business there one time.
Okay.
That's probably what you remember.
Now that it's moving closer. That blue building that's going up.
Mr. Council President, Dwayne mentioned if you add the 40 feet and then go down to the bottom, it's 17 point, what is it, Dwayne, down there?
0.92 feet.
Yeah, so 57 feet total. And when Dwayne and I were talking about it, that if this property were eventually annexed into the corporate limits of the city, and there was a move to develop what's called the Warren Hales Tract up there, you see that language on there? So if there was a move to develop the 30 acres or 28, however many acres that is, then at that point in time, the city would have, obviously we'd have sole review authority because it's incorporated in the city limits. And I talked to Dwayne, and then we would have to address formally that access off that to those parcels, which I think we normally want 60 feet.
40
Is that
feet?
right?
Isn't it 40 or 60?
60 feet.
40 or 60
and then
feet.
That's more than the my term, back a curb to back a curb, but we want a 60-foot right-of-way. So they're 3 feet short, but again, we're okay with that because, as Dwayne said, well, if they come in and want to develop the Warren Hales Tract, we'll have to address that issue. And that access easement is there to benefit the Warren Hales Tract because obviously the owner of Lot 1, Block 1 has access right off of 89 as it is. So, but this is, just as a side note, this is the first, I think, development Dwayne could tell me about that is actually connected to the Bear River Regional water line. And so I asked Dwayne, I said, so what happens if we start annexing out? Because that water line is right there on the corporate limits where it starts.
Yeah.
And I said, what happens to the water line? He says, well, I think the Bear River Regional Joint Powers Board provides them water even though they're in the city. And I go, oh, we'll have to think about that as we grow that way. But they have access to that culinary water, but they're just going to use a leach field for their wastewater.
Interesting. So you're okay with the 57 feet of road? I mean, you're just missing enough for a sidewalk on the other side, basically.
Yeah, if they came back in like, like you were saying, if they were going to develop that tract of land, we would be looking at a subdivision if it's annexed into the city, as well as I've seen some language too on the county review side too. If they're looking at a multi-lot subdivision with extending a road off of there, they would need to provide a 60-foot wide right-of-way through there to access.
There's a lot of houses being built out there right now.
So as it stands right now, what's being proposed, I don't see any problems with it.
Any other questions for Dwayne?
Or an introduction and a motion to pass in a
I'll
second.
introduce with a motion to pass.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Your Honor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Sellers. We'll now go on to
That was pretty good for you.
ordinance 2306. Mr. Harris, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Ordinance 23-06 is an ordinance of the city of Evanston, Wyoming, amending section 12-1 definitions of the city code to mirror the language of state statutes for the definition of a street or highway. This ordinance does require a sponsor and a motion to pass.
I'll sponsor it, Your Honor.
Sponsor, Mr. Perks. Okay. Are you going to tell us what we're doing here, or?
Yes, and Chief Branish is here as well, Mayor.
Okay.
This ordinance, and I think you have the color copy, but basically the language that's underlined is added and the strike-through is that's deleted. This language incorporates in our city code definitions the state statute definition of a street or highway. And if you can kind of look at that language, the current ordinance defines a street or highway is the entire width between the boundary lines of every way publicly maintained when any part thereof is open to use of the public for purposes of vehicular travel. So what that does is excludes many of our traffic laws, like backing laws, turning laws, and other safety laws that relate to traffic from parking lots that are open to the public.
Oh.
Okay, so this actually came about in a case we had where we had our local law enforcement had cited someone for improper backing at the Flying J parking lot, and we couldn't prosecute it because of the way our definition of streets and alleys, because it wasn't maintained by the public.
Oh.
So this definition incorporates state statute definition.
We'll correct that issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Chief, you got anything else to add?
No, sir. It's, I mean, we can force county law, but it's a lot of times we're better off running things through city court, and this allows us to run things through city court. Right now, a few laws that we can't enforce, like the Walmart parking lot would be DUI, reckless driving, but you can't enforce some kind of like speed too fast conditions or other driving patterns that would be highly probable to cause accidents.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. We've got a sponsor here. Is there any, I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve. If we need to discuss, we can, but I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2306 on first reading.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Welling seconding. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor say aye. 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 Are there any opposed? That is approved on first reading. Okay. Comments from departments. Ms. Larson, you have anything for us tonight? Okay. Who else back there? Mr. Robinson back there? Thank you. Chief?
Real fast, top of the top of success, we had 61 children.
Good.
Each one was allowed to spend $100 apiece. Would have been possible without donors, and would have been possible without the city council mayor allowing us to utilize city vehicles for it. I could appreciate it. And also wish the best to Dean Parker and his future endeavors here.
Thank you. Ms. Lim, you have anything for us?
Just Merry Christmas to you all, and yes, love to you, wish you were staying.
We're going to put him on the spot. Maybe we'll let him go last because he's probably got something to say. Ms. Harris, do you have anything? I'll come back to you. Ms. Harris, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just wanted to say happy holidays, and thanks for everything you guys do for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Harris, you have anything?
Ditto.
Okay.
And congratulations, Dean.
Absolutely. Mr. Barker, we'll finish with you.
I didn't realize this was my last council meeting.
You're welcome to come back.
Prepared, but thank you, and it's been a highlight of my career working for the city and for my hometown. And I appreciate the mayor and his confidence in me. I haven't always made the right decisions maybe, but I've always tried to do what's best for the community. And I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a real honor, for sure.
You know, it's a struggle sometimes when you see people, when you see different organizations, different employers kind of take some of our people. That's not an easy thing for us to deal with. But at the same time, I think there is some honor in that to the city and to you, Mr. Barker, because it shows that we've got quality people who are in demand. And so I personally, I appreciate what you've done. I've enjoyed working with you. We're still friends. And we wish you all and your family all the best of luck. So thank you for what you've done, and good luck.
The city has some really good projects and really good things that you've been trying to do, and it's been fun to be a part of that.
Excellent.
Wish you all luck in moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Public comment. Any public participation? Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the council for any reason?
Well, holidays to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful new year and it brings peace around the world. And I'm going to miss Dean terribly, and I hope whoever replaces him is just as nice and helpful as he has been. So if I
Thank you, Kane. Well said. Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll adjourn. Thank you, everyone.